Hey Internet, welcome to my channel, welcome to my workshop. I've been wanting to make a channel for a while now. I've been told I should, so this is me doing it. I'm reading from a script, so I apologize if I'm looking away very often. It's my first time doing this. This video has a purpose. I'm going to share some skills that I found incredibly useful, but before I get into that, I'm going to do a little bit of a channel introduction. The purpose of this channel is for me to share my experiences with building, crafting, and art. I'm not here to speak with authority on any of these subjects, nor to claim any expertise that I don't have. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to tell you what to make or how to make it. I'm not even going to show you what I make or use this platform to advertise my own work. I'm here to discuss issues around creativity. I'll be discussing my own experiences, as with this video. A lot of the time, I'm going to be discussing different ways crafting and art are depicted in other media, such as games, books, movies. I'll discuss technical and historical crafts and maybe delve into some lost crafts that I find interesting, that I hope you'll all find interesting as well. I might even do some streams where I play through the various crafting systems in games and express my opinions, where hopefully some of you can join me and show up with your own opinions as well. I'll probably split my time between this room you see here. This is my workshop. I got a bit of a camera set up behind me where I'll discuss things about crafting, building, and then upstairs, that's where we'll do our gaming streams if we end up doing that sort of thing. On that note, I apologize for the low video and audio quality of this video. I am hoping to get some new equipment at some point to make the experience better for you and for me, because this is really annoying. I'm doing this on a phone right now. But I just didn't want to wait any longer. I wanted to start the channel now. I don't have a plan at the moment. It's going to be one video a week for now, and I'll see how that goes. If it goes well, I'll upload more frequently and more regularly, and maybe set up a streaming schedule for you guys. So, with that out of the way, here are 7 skills I found super helpful when you're making things. 1, learning to cut and shape using hand tools. This is the sort of skill which comes in handy no matter what you're making. Even if you have a room full of power tools, everyone should learn how to mark out and make precise cuts by hand. The first thing to learn here is what type of tools are available, what they look like, and what they're for. Certain hand saws, for instance, look weird as heck. Tools are made this way for very specific reasons. Wide, flat-bladed saws are used to make long, straight cuts in wood, while saws with thin blades are usually meant to allow you to move around through curves and cut patterns. This doesn't apply to wood and metal either, just to wood and metal either. When working with textiles, you have shears, scissors, rolling cutters, and all sorts of other cutting tools with very, very specific purposes. Pinking shears make a zigzag type of cut to prevent cloth from fraying too quickly. Rolling cutters make a long, straight, precise cuts. The reason this is important is that you'll find yourself wanting to do things that are difficult to do with using power tools, and while you might be able to do them with hand tools, if you haven't practiced, you may be intimidated and avoid making what you want to make. We're all in that position. Sometimes I do that, sometimes myself. This skill opens a world of new possibilities to you, and you will find that it's invaluable when you're working in any medium. Reading and converting measurements. This is pretty obvious. We should all learn to read and convert measurements. I'm not talking about doing it in your head. Even I'm not great at that. Have your measuring tools out and handy, as well as something to mark on, and a calculator. Having a phone means you have access to at least 2 of these at any time, but if you don't want to bring your phone into a workshop for obvious, reasonable reasons, pen and paper and calculator is fine. You'll find yourself using different measuring tools if you're making something with a lot of complex geometry, and learning to move from volumetric measurements to straight dimensional measurements to measurements of mass is going to come in really handy. If you have charts on the wall, like me, because I have a terrible short-term memory and a terrible long-term memory, it's not cheating. This isn't high school. Have your measurements posted somewhere and your conversions. You'll thank yourself later. Learn how to use different types of measuring tools. There are many, and like your saws and your cutting tools, they have very specific uses and come in all kinds of shapes. One more thing, if you did as well as I did in math at school, Have your formulas written out and handy at all times as well. Post those with your conversions. Really handy. Don't worry about, you're cheating. 3, technical drawing. So taking time to draw out something you want to make is incredibly important. You don't want to take a piece of wood and just start hacking bits off it. Some people can do that, but generally I personally would rather have a bit of a vision and go from there. The nature of the material will make you change your plans as you go, and that's fine. But I advise that you have a plan to start. It's really important. It's important that you have a system to translate those drawings from concepts in your head to actions with your hands, and often that's the hardest part. Learning to read and draw things in a way that you can translate into a product is important, and everyone will do it differently. There are standards you can look at. Engineering drawings and technical drawings are 2 areas that you can spend time studying. That'll give you systems already established. But you can do as I do and learn a few things from them and then come up with your own shorthand. Excuse me, it's coffee time. If you can't figure out how to turn your vision into reality, this is a skill you may need to work on. This skill is not just for big, heavy machines and made from metal and wood. If you want to make a bag or knit a hat or make paper cranes, you can always start by drawing out what you want so that it's in front of you. You can then use your system, whatever system you have or come up with, to turn that drawing into something that you can follow from concept to craft. Don't let someone tell you you're doing it wrong. If you get from where you are to where you want to go, you're doing it right. 4, reading materials. This one applies to any sort of craft you're doing as well. Every material has properties that make it suitable for certain things and unsuitable for others. Learning these properties and reading them when handling your materials is incredibly important. Some materials are granular. Some are fibrous. Some will bend in one direction but not in another. Some materials are stronger in one direction if force is applied in one direction, but weak in another. If some materials need to be cut and worked in a specific direction, or the final product will be weak when used as intended. Wood's a good example, actually. You have to be able to look at the surface of a piece of wood and understand that if you cut it in a particular way, the direction of the fibers, the wood grain, will keep the object from breaking, while if cut in another, will snap if force is applied to it. This one takes experience and practice more than anything. You'll make lots of mistakes, and that's okay. Mistakes are how you learn. So go out there and break some stuff, see how it works. Feel free to remember that the trick is to remember it. Remember what you discovered. Otherwise, you're just breaking stuff and wasting material. And also rely on the wisdom of others. Talk to other crafters, look up YouTube videos and things, and see what people are saying about this. Everyone has information on how to use materials in the proper way, how to cut them, how to read them. Really important. Situational awareness is number 5. This is the how to walk away with all your fingers skill. I can tell you how to handle safety. I can't tell you how to handle safety in your own workshop. Every workspace is different. The problem is that it's really easy to get lost in the process and hyperfixate on what you're doing and what you're going to do next, and ignore how to take precautions so that you or someone around you isn't in danger. First, you have to know all the safety issues with every process and tool you're about to use. Have the equipment and protocols handy and ready. Stop in between every single process and action and look around to be sure that you're using them. Super important. If something's uncomfortable, there's probably a reason for that. Trust your intuition. If you find a power tool is too loud, put on ear protectors, even if you wouldn't otherwise. Noise can be amplified in a shop environment, and it really doesn't take much to cause damage to your ears or make it difficult to concentrate on what you're doing. Don't listen to anyone who tells you that you're being too cautious. Chances are they think losing a finger is going deaf before their hair is gray is going to make them tougher. They're wrong. And they're likely to get themselves or someone else hurt. Don't follow the examples of people who are willing to invite danger unless you want to walk away with an injury. Every few minutes, look up from your work, take a breath, make sure you're doing it right. And every time you do this, you're training yourself to do it regularly. Keep it up. Be safe. Coffee. Excuse me a minute. 6, tension and force. This one's real simple, real intuitive, and real easy to forget when you're focused on your work. It's a problem in every discipline I can think of, and it can easily ruin a piece of work or result in something breaking or becoming dangerous. Always keep an eye on the amount of force you're applying to any tool or piece of work. Most tools are designed to do their jobs effectively. You don't need to press and push and rush with them. You might add a little more time to the project, but time translates into precision. There's an old saying, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. If you rush through a procedure and make a mistake, you will have to take more time to fix it or even start over, which you don't want to do. A saw will make the same cut slow and with less pressure as it will quickly. The thing about mistakes is that if you're moving quicker, the mistake happens quicker. Simple. If you find that you're having trouble with this, stop what you're doing. Apply no force, like remove all the force. Slowly increase your speed and force until you're doing what you need to do, but at a much more reasonable pace. This one takes a lot of practice and patience, which I also don't have a lot of. But trust me, you won't regret cultivating this skill. I've used cutting as an example, but other situations in which tension causes problems is with knitting and crochet, for example. If you don't find a way to be consistent with your force, in this case tension, you keep an eye tension on the yarn that you're pulling. Ending up with a piece that's uneven, crooked, doesn't fit. Lastly, 7, managing your environment. This is incredibly important for any craft. As you can see, I need to clean this place up. Well, you can't really see it because I got this thing behind me, but I need to clean this place up. It's a horrible mess. I got tools and materials are everywhere. I got half-finished projects on every surface. I got stuff sitting next to me right now, half-finished. But it's also important that every space, all these projects I have on the go, I have the tools and the projects where they need to be for me to work on these things when I need to work on them until they're finished. I'm going to clean them up afterwards, obviously, but it's a matter of efficiency. It's a matter of having everything ready and handy. There's another area where if you're having trouble getting started on turning your idea into a thing, you might need to find your space, set it up so that you can get started with less friction. Once you start, you'll have made the biggest step towards getting your vision finished. The rest is all the fun part. This also involves minimizing distractions. If your phone's a problem, put it in another room. Maybe have a podcast playing in the background. If you need background noise or relaxing music, whatever gets you in the mood to just get your head down and get started. The last bit here is to be sure that when you're done, and that's the trick, when you're done, clean up. Do it for your own benefit. It sucks to clean, but you'll be happy you did. When you're done cleaning, you'll come and look at the space next time you want to make something, and you're ready to go. Get what you need. You know where it all is, and get started. You don't have the burden of having to tidy up first. So, those are my 7 skills that make crafting way easier, and an introduction to this channel. I hope some of you will find this really interesting, and I'll keep making more content like it. If anyone has any suggestions for things they'd like to know, I'll post my email down in the description, and it's also attached to the channel header underneath the title as well. Any other social media links I add in the future will go down there too. If you did like the video, like and subscribe and all that. I think my video for next week is going to be about my favorite crafting systems and various games I've played. I'll give you folks an idea of what I think an ideal crafting system might look like. I'll try and make it a little longer next time. This is my first video ever, so I'd like to get more involved in the topic. Write a more involved script. I didn't want to go too long on this one because it's just an introductory video. So, bye internet. See y'all next time. Be safe. See ya.